A great day to all of you and welcome back to my channel. Today we will discuss the biography of the famous Indian playwright Vijay Tendulkar. Vijay Tendulkar, 1928-2008. His full name is Vijay Tendulkar. Vijay Tendulkar was one of India's most powerful, influential and socially conscious playwrights and screenwriters who revolutionized modern Indian theatre with his bold realism, sharp social criticism and a fearless portrayal of human hypocrisy. Vijay Tendulkar's works reflect a deep concern for violence, power, gender inequality and a moral corruption in a post-independence Indian society. Early life and education. Vijay Tendulkar was born on January 6, 1928 in Kolhapur, Maharashtra into a middle-class Chitpavan Brahmin family with a literary and intellectual background. His father was a publisher and a writer, which exposed Tendulkar to literature at a young age. From early childhood, he showed a deep fascination with reading and writing, often reading newspapers, plays, and novels rather than focusing on formal studies. Though he did not complete a conventional university education, his self-education through wide reading and observation shaped his powerful analytical mind and independent thought. At the age of 11, he wrote his first play inspired by the freedom movement, showing early signs of his commitment to social and political themes. Career and literary journey. Vijay Tendulkar began his career as a journalist, working for several Marathi newspapers and magazines, including Log Satta and Maratha. Journalism gave him insight into human behavior, social injustice, and political hypocrisy, which later became the foundation of his dramatic writing. His early plays were experimental, but it was in the 1960s and 1970s that Vijay Tendulkar emerged as a major voice in Indian theatre, known for his brutal honesty, psychological depth, and a socio-political critique. He often used the theatre as a mirror to expose the moral decay of middle-class life, especially the treatment of women and the abuse of power. Major works and their themes. Vijay Tendulkar wrote more than 30 full-length plays, along with short plays, screenplays, and television scripts. His writing explores violence, sexuality, gender politics, class struggle, and the tension between individual freedom and societal norms. His plays include the first one, that is Silence, the Court is in Session. Shantata, Court Chalu Hai, 1967. This groundbreaking play dramatizes the mock trial of a woman named Leela Benare, which turns into a cruel exposure of her personal life. It critiques the hypocrisy and moral cruelty of society, revealing how women are judged and shamed by patriarchal norms. The next play, that is Ghanshiram Kotwal, published 1972. Set in 18th century Pune, the play uses folk theatre style, that is tamasha, to depict the rise and fall of a corrupt police chief. It serves as an allegory of political corruption and abuse of power, drawing parallels with the contemporary political realities. The next work is Sakaram Bainter, published in 1972. One of his most controversial works, it portrays a man who keeps women as domestic and sexual partners without marriage, believing himself to be honest. The play explores power, morality, and gender exploitation, forcing audiences to confront their own moral double standards. The next work, that is Kamala, published in 1981. Based on a true journalistic incident, this play exposes how women are treated as commodities in both rural trafficking and urban journalism. It reveals the exploitation and insensitivity of patriarchal society, using a news story to critique both media ethics and gender inequality. The next work, that is Kanya Dhan, published in 1983, is a deeply political and emotional play. Kanya Dhan examines the clash between Gandhian idealism and harsh social realities through an intercaste marriage. It questions whether intellectual ideals can survive in the face of violence, prejudice, and emotional pain. The next work, that is The Vultures, Gidade, published in 1970. This play portrays the moral and emotional decay of a family consumed by greed and cruelty. It is one of Tendulkar's darkest works, symbolizing the vulture-like nature of human exploitation. Style and dramatic techniques. Vijay Tendulkar's plays are characterized by realistic dialogue and a psychological complexity. Use of folk forms like a tamasha and kirtan for political commentary. Unflinching portrayal of violence, sexuality, and moral ambiguity. Strong female characters who challenge oppression but often face tragic consequences. A sociological and journalistic precision in observing society. His theatre often shocks audiences not for mere sensationalism but to awaken moral awareness. Now let's talk of the themes we can see in Vijay Tendulkar's plays. Recurring themes in his works include patriarchy and oppression of women, hypocrisy of the middle class, abuse of political and sexual power, moral decay and corruption, conflict between idealism and reality, human loneliness and cruelty. Vijay Tendulkar's screenwriting and other works. Tendulkar was also a prolific screenwriter, contributing to India's parallel cinema movement. He wrote screenplays for several acclaimed films, including Nishant 1975, Manthan 1976, Akrosh 1980, and Ardha Satya 1983, directed by Shyam Benegal and Govind Nihalani. These films, known for their social realism and political depth, bear Tendulkar's unmistakable voice of moral questioning and empathy for the oppressed. Awards and recognition. Vijay Tendulkar received numerous national and international honors. Padma Bhushan in 1984, India's third highest civilian award. Sangeeta Naraga Academy Award in 1970 for playwriting. Filmfare Award for Best Screenplay, that is Akrosh, in 1981, Kalidas Samman for Literature and Dramatic Arts, Maharashtra Gaurav Puraskar, and several other state and national recognitions. Vijay Tendulkar's personal life. Tendulkar was married to Nirmala Tendulkar and they had three children. Despite fame, he lived a simple, introspective life devoted to writing and observation. Known for his humility and a sharp intellect, he maintained a detached view of fame, believing that art must disturb complacency. Legacy of the writer. Vijay Tendulkar's contribution to Indian modern theatre is immense and transmearing. He redefined drama as a space for moral inquiry, political critique, and a social reflection. His women characters, complex, defiant, and tragic, stand among the strongest in Indian theatre. He died on May 19, 2008 in Pune, leaving behind a body of work that continues to provoke, disturb, and enlighten. His plays are still performed and studied worldwide for their psychological realism, social urgency, and a universal moral relevance.